So I thought we would take apart the old meter. They replaced this meter with a new meter, a digital meter, and I have a video on that. You can check that out. But they threw out the old meter, so I thought we would take it apart, take a look at it. I've never taken apart a meter, so I thought we would do that together. And basically, the idea of this video is just to show you or to figure out how the meter works, or to get to look at the dials. But this is totally honest. This is not about stealing electricity. You definitely should not. I just wanted to point out when in one of my prior videos, someone actually called up the electric company and said that I was reported me as stealing electricity. And they came down, they took a look at it, and they said, look, we know you have the YouTube thing, but just, we see you're not stealing it. But it was fine. But please, so please, don't get any ideas. Don't call up New Jersey Power and claim that I'm stealing electricity, because I'm not. Okay, so that's all there is to it. We'll take a quick look at it, and let's have some fun. This is a close-up at the meter. This is obviously not in use anymore, and that's the top of it. And what people did do is, people would love to have a meter like this in the past, because when you have an analog meter, some people, they would have a second meter, and they'd put like a gate around the meter, and then for 2 weeks out of the month, they would just pop out the utility meter, put in this duplicate meter, this other meter, and then before the meter reader came, they would just put back in the electric company meter, and therefore they would be underpaying for electricity. It's theft, it's stealing, it's not what you should do. But today with the digital meters that they put in, they can see that meter's checking in like every 5 seconds with the utility. It's radio waves, it's checking in, it's sending data all the time. So it knows the minute that meter's popped out, or the power goes out, it's not getting that check-in. It's not calling in the meter. And so they know there's a problem. So you can't do anything like that. Everyone's going to be much more honest, which is good. Why should you pay for other people's electricity? Is the back of it, and you can see there's this metal ring around it. This meter says it was from, it says T, let me see if you can see that. See, it says T86. I guess it was put in, maybe it's 786, July 86. So it's like 35 years old. And they're all pretty much the same. They have that ring spinning in the middle. I don't know why they need that, but it's just so you can like count it and see it. Yeah, I guess you can measure it, but I don't know who does. Okay, let's take a look at it. So we have the back. And I guess we should take out these cotter pins. That would make sense. But what would that do? I don't know. Maybe we should first just take off the ring. See in the back, you got this piece. I don't know what that does. Maybe you could hang it on a screw. No idea. You got this over here, which I'm not sure what that does. You could try to, I don't know what that does. Oh, come on. Alright. And this, I saw this was on the new meter also, so I don't know what this does. It looks conductive to me. Like a switch, you could break the connection. Not quite sure. And let's just put that back. Okay, so for those of you who don't know, the power comes in, there's 2 hot legs from the utility. That's on top, and it goes through the meter and it comes at the bottom to your house. This is what your house plugs into. There's only 2 hots. there's a neutral. It's the return, but there's no ground. You ground your house into the ground. So there's 3 wires coming from the utility. And then over here, I don't know what this is. This. I don't know. There's a seal here. It says sealed. See? This piece of, oh yeah. This. Actually, the seal's broken, so I don't know. So let's see. Now these things are like permanently sealed. Doesn't seem to be any way to open it. We could cut it, but oh yeah, let's see. I could use a Dremel, but there's no lock on it. There's the glass. The glass is in there. Looks to me as though it kind of slides. This kind of slides. So let me go fight with it a little bit. It looks like it's glued on also. All right, let me see. All right, so let's see. Can we cut it? It cuts pretty easy. I don't want to break the glass. I don't want to bore you guys, so let me just start to cut it. So after making a mess, oops, I've been able to cut the ring. Let's see what we have. So the ring comes off. What a mess. There's dirt, there's glue. So the ring holds the top and the bottom on. Okay, so once you remove the ring, let's see what happens. Okay, the meter comes out. Alright, so we got the meter, and inside is the glass. Just looking at the glass, it's a little dusty. I guess not bad considering it's 35 years out there. But pretty much you can see, actually you can see over here, there's some mold growing in there. So I guess some water made it, yeah, some water made it most of the way through. But there's a seal here. See that seal, that rubber gasket? That keeps the water out. And it's interesting, the water came from the bottom, not the top. But you really can't break this glass to get to be able to reach the dials. So let's just take this away. Let's get some tissues. Let's just clean up a little bit. Get rid of the mold. And let's take a look at what we got. Okay. So, if you had access to the meter, you'd see this dial. First question is, can you move it without breaking it? Well, this turns. And those are the dials. So the first question I had is, when you watch on YouTube, people claim that you can cheat a meter by hooking up these magnets. Like on each side, they'll put these magnets, or if you're more enterprising, you put in electromagnets. And that prevents this dial, which spins, from spinning, because the electromagnetic field will grab that and slow it down, so you can't be billed as much. So let's just see if that's possible. I mean, this spins pretty freely. I have these really strong magnets. See? And let's see. So what you notice right away is, which is what it looks like, is, let's see, this dial over here is aluminum, so it's not magnetic. See, oh, the dial's not magnetic, but the housing is. So some parts inside are magnetic, but nothing that this dial is not magnetic. So if you're trying to slow down the meter with a magnet, it's not going to work. So those YouTube videos are a bunch of nonsense. They're not true, because you can't slow down this meter. And I bet that's why they make it out of aluminum. They don't want you to slow it down with magnetism. And these dials, everything here is aluminum. Now, what part is steel? Even this is aluminum. There's a part inside. I think there are screws in there that are steel. This part of the housing is magnetic, but that won't help you. All the dials inside, see? Nothing's magnetic. It's all aluminum. So all those conspiracy theorists on YouTube are lying to you. I mean, I can't say every meter, but I'm sure everything made in the last 75 years, they figured that out. Oh, I lost my magnet in there. Okay, so that's that. So you have all these gears. I never could figure out why you have all these gears. I guess it's because the dials, each one is 10 times the other. So they have gears that are 10 times the other. Now, the next question is, could you just cheat the electric company by changing the dials? Let's see. Huh. Now, let's see. Alright, they're coming to read the meter. Holy shit, look how much electricity we used. Let's see. No, we didn't. Turn this back. Can't turn that one back. Oh, this one. Yep. I'm using less. Let's see this one. This one won't turn. Could you force it? Not really. Oh, wait a minute. Yep. I just saved $3,000 this month. But I don't even use $3,000 a month. Oh boy. They might figure that one out. But it kind of... You can manipulate these by hand. I mean, not all of them. This one, for some reason, is... I don't know. So you can manipulate it. Which is surprising. I didn't think... Can you turn the dials in the back? You can't turn the dials. Because the dials are all interlocked. No, no way. But you can, these, I think they turn on the spine, and you're able to do that. But you really would need to know what you're doing and how much you're billing. I mean, because if they come and you're billing the meter's less than it was last month, that's not going to work. Okay, so that answers the question. You can't turn the gears, you can't do any of that. This will spin, but you probably have to spin this 3 million times to make a difference. So that won't work. But you can, like, force these back a number. Alright, so that's interesting. Now there's a big transformer here. That's what it feels like here. See. Let's see, what else is here? Well, let's take apart the back. Let's see what else there is. Here's my pliers. Alright, let's see what we got. So, I mean, they're so simple. I guess the technology works, so. Oh man, that's not good. I gotta pull that one out. 3 out of 4. This one I messed up. Alright. Oh, I'm bending something in the front. Sorry. Alright, let me struggle with this. Alright, there's always one that gives you a hard time. But okay. So that should let this part slide out. Unless there's a seal there. Maybe I gotta remove the screws. Let's remove the screws. See if that helps. One on the other side. Okay, so now, interesting. Let's take a look at that. So, that actually does something, something seemingly important. So you have from the transformer and from the base. So this is, let's see if you can see that. You know, I'm never sure to zoom in if that's better for your computer, but here this goes from the leg, the hot in, and then this comes out, and then it goes back in. So this goes in, and then this goes in. So one hot's always in, and the other hot gets goes out and in according to the switch. So you can shut off. It looks to me like you could shut off one of the inputs into the transformer. So what would that do? I don't know. That's interesting. Let's see if we can figure that out. Okay, so basically the transformer gets 120 from this leg and 120 from this leg, but the electric company can prevent 120 going into the transformer. Why? I'm not sure. Would the power still go down here? Would that shut off the meter? In other words, would disconnecting that thing in the back just make it not bill, or would it just would it prevent the power from going into your house? That I don't know. Because this is hot, and then it goes, it looks like it's connected straight down into the house. And all this does is just measure it. It just turns the gears. So that I can't figure out. I guess what we could do is, let's see what we can figure out. Alright, so we're back, and I have a continuity tester. So I can tell from the top leg to the bottom leg is continuity. So the question is, would power still go through if we disconnect that switch there? Alright, so we've opened that circuit. You can see. Let me just seal that open. Now the question is, would the power go into your house? Check for continuity. Yeah, the power would still go into your house. Let's check the other one. It's continuity on both. So what that switch does, that switch won't prevent the power from going into your house. But interestingly, my guess is it'll prevent the meter from billing. Which is interesting, because what I think is this little switch, when you open it up, your meter won't bill. Alright? Because it's not going to let the power from here. This is apparently a 240 volt transformer. You can see it's getting power from, hold on, from this right leg and from this left leg, but only if that switch is closed, so that the power goes in there. So I think you actually can prevent your meter from billing just by disconnecting that. But that's so easy. Why would they do that? I have no idea. You know, I mean, you can just stop it from billing. Sorry. You can just stop it from billing by flipping that switch. Doesn't make sense to me. Maybe that's why they're going to digital meters. But of course, you'd have to turn it back on. I mean, it's a pain in the neck. So that's 240 volts. All right. So what I'm going to do is let me take a look at this further. And if there's anything else that I think is interesting, I'll tell you. But it seems theoretically very simple. Here. I just want to show you. Look how. I don't know if you can pick that up. I really would like you guys to see this. See, simple, small gears though. I wonder why in there where my finger is, you have that small gear. It's like if you play with it, if you try manipulating it here, it's just gonna break. And that's like what they want. They don't want you tampering with this. Ow. Okay. It's really heavy. See, it's like not letting you. Like you can turn this, but that won't let you turn the gears. But like we said, you could play with this. And that, it doesn't turn the gear in the back, but it'll, on the spindle, it'll just kind of like move. Alright, so that's that. There's something over here. I don't know what that is. It's the ground, but why would the ground be encased like this and connected like so poorly? Just like that? That's the whole thing? I guess it's a ground. It doesn't really matter. Alright, well, we'll play with it further and we'll see what we can come up with. So I think the only other thing we could do is we could remove these screws. Well, let's see what's under here. We have these. I don't know what kind of screws these are, man. It's like some kind of, maybe push it down and release. Huh. Alright, rather than bore you, I'll play with it some more. Alright, the last thing I tried to do was I tried feeding 240 volts from two 120 volt lines to the transformer, but that doesn't seem to have done anything. I guess because maybe it's measuring the current passing through. It's measuring the load, and there is no load. Alright, so we'll see if we can just take it apart and see what's going on. Oh, actually, I didn't notice. But what I did was I fed, don't ask, I fed from two 120 volt lines. I fed it directly to those two wires and the transformer, and this is what happened. It's turning ever so slowly. Let's see if we can get some light here. That's interesting. So it is functioning. I don't see the front dials turning. In other words, yeah, so this thing is turning. You see that? Yeah, this thing is turning very slowly. Yeah, I feel it. Okay, so that's turning. And it's turning. Well, the gear is very slowly. Huh. Alright, so that's how it works. I wish I could see how to spin it faster, but I just don't know. So it's, in other words, I'm feeding in 240 volts into the motor, into the transformer there. And that's turning the motor very slowly. Alright, so let's see if I can take it apart any further and see what's up. And let's disconnect this electricity before we do something. The next step is remove these screws. See what happens, and this comes out, but it's kind of hooked on there. Oh, that comes out. Oh, see, this is what turns. So if you took it apart, you could actually turn it backwards. Just kind of put it in reverse. Hook this up to a drill, and you can turn the meter backwards. Pretty simple. Alright, so now we have over here pull that out. So this should come out. I need my better screwdriver. Let's see. Okay. Oh, but that works. Okay. Alright, so take that off. Okay. Okay, that's pretty much it. This is what turns when it gets the voltage. I mean, obviously it's measuring the load, and the greater the load, the faster this spins. But I'm not sure how that works. Does it pick up, does it use like transducence? Does it just, if that's the right word? Yeah, it looks like this. I don't think it's right here. It looks like it picks up the current. Current passing through here. Something about that affects the transformer, the transformer speed, which spins the gears. So there's something about it that's measuring the load, and that's telling the meter how quickly to spin. I couldn't figure out how that works. I just sent 240 volts to this, and it was spinning slowly. I don't know. I guess it's measuring something, and then it's spinning based upon the load. If you have any ideas or comments, just post them. I'm curious. Very reliable piece of equipment, and hope this was helpful, and I hope you enjoyed. These are magnetic. So they have these magnets. Even if you try to affect it, you have these magnets here, which the wheel spins through, which is interesting because the wheel itself is aluminum. So maybe those magnets protect it, or I don't know. If it's aluminum, that's not affected anyway. But basically, that's a teardown of this. If you have any ideas, comments, or any criticism, just post it. And guys, hope you enjoyed. Take care and be well.